Greetings to everyone. So now we are going to study about environmental education. Why environmental education is very much important to all. Okay? So environmental education as a part and parcel of the environment has to be recognized as a role and importance of environment in order to protect it and to get protection from it. For this, he needs environmental education. Okay? So definition as per IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, is process of recognizing values and clarifying concepts in order to develop skills and attitudes necessary to understand and appreciate the interrelatedness among men, his culture, and his biophysical surroundings. So environmental education also entails practice in decision making and self-formulation of a code of behavior about issues concerning environmental quality. So goals of environmental education are to improve the quality of the environment, to create awareness among the people on environmental problems and conservation, and then to create an atmosphere so that people participate in decision making and develop the capabilities to evaluate the developmental programs. So because of these three objectives, environmental education becomes very, very important. Then the main objectives are awareness, knowledge, attitude, skills, evaluation ability, and the participation. So participation is very much required. Okay, and how you will participate if you know that what can be done. That is, if you have some education and knowledge about it, then only you can participate. So awareness, real life situations, conservation, sustainable development, all these are the scopes of environmental education. The major environmental issues are so now we are seeing these climate changes, environmental degradation, intensive farming, land degradation, nuclear issues, overpopulation, ozone depletion, pollution, resource depletion. So all these environmental issues have to be handled. Otherwise, we can't survive, right? The sustainability won't be there, right? So environmental awareness is essential for protection of atmosphere, land resources, conservation of biological diversity, then environmentally sound management of biotechnology and hazardous waste, okay? Prevention of illegal traffic, right, in toxic products and waste, then improvement in living and working conditions of the poor by eradicating their poverty and stopping environmental degradation. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. So these has to be taken care of. So we have some education levels, that is primary education, secondary, higher secondary, college and university. So these primary education is till awareness of environment, that is knowledge is there. Secondary education, they start understanding it. Okay? And in higher secondary education, they develop the skills. Okay? And in college and university education, they develop an attitude and evaluation strategy for the environmental protections. Okay? Then it is an interdisciplinary approach. Right? So environmental education is an interdisciplinary approach. It comes in all the subjects or the programs, right? Then it is a multidisciplinary approach also. Then role of teachers is to arouse the children's interest in the environment and to raise challenging problems, to discuss the approach of the problems and topics, to arrange visits, to provide materials needed for practical work, to arrange visiting speakers, then to initiate and develop discussion and debates, and to provide facilities for displays and exhibitions of the works to be carried out. So Chinese say about the need to educate is, if you plan for a year, plant rice, and if you plan for the years, plant trees, but if you plan for a century, educate the people. So this is a very good saying. So these are the references which have been taken. Okay. Now we'll go for environmental ethics also. So Education is important as well as ethics should also be followed. So why we need to study about environmental ethics? So to overcome these questions, that is, how environment damage produced by the present generation and what acts must be given up to slow such damage. So environmental damage is caused by pollution, resource depletion, right? So we should have profound respect for the nature first. We must maintain a harmonious relation with other species. Then everyone should take responsibility for this impact on nature. Then environmental ethics principles are local and indigenous environmental knowledge should be respected. See, we say actually we don't follow what our elders say, right? So we have our own analytics, right? So we don't really follow them. So if we start following their knowledge and their local understandings, and we should respect them. Okay, so that is why one has to follow it. So we must plan for the long term. And the ethical values for pollution control are we should recognize our moral duty to protect the welfare not only human beings but also of other non-human parts of the system. That is usefulness of non-human world for human purposes. Then humans have no rights to reduce the richness and diversity of the environment, right? So, one should have that ethics, that is, live and let live, right? So, anything, if you see that animal is fallen on the road and is very much in, it needs our attention, then what we do? We just take care of that, right? So we should have that attitude in us and ethics in us that as we live, we should make others also live. Right? So that is the main ethics we should follow. Then proper utilization of resources, that is to maintain the ecological balance. Then we should adopt voluntary measures to conserve the resources, right? Then if we are to preserve enough scarce resources so that future generation can maintain their quality of life at a satisfactory level. So environmental ethics, these are the definitions, moral standing, right? Then moral duties, right? All these things one has to understand first, and then the ability to feel the pain should also be there, right? Then being alive, then being a part of nature. So various worldviews and ethical perspectives are philosophy, anthropocentric, stewardship, biocentric, ecocentric, ecofeminism, etc. So we can best protect nature by looking out for human needs. Okay, then stewardship, sense of responsibility to manage and take care of the environment. So it becomes our moral responsibility also, right? So all these things, that is biocentric, so life-centered morality also should be there. Then ecocentricalism, the ecosystem-centered morality. So we have to balance the ecosystem also. Then ecofeminism, so rejects patriarchal dualisms, right? So all the acid attacks and everything should be lessened. So knowing all these exacts a moral obligation to act with care, foresight, forbearance, and constraint. Okay. So the care of the earth is our most ancient and most worthy, and after all, our most pleasing responsibility. So to cherish what remains of it and to foster its renewal is only our hope. Right? So this was given by Gandhi Bell. So we should protect, and as a responsible citizen of the country, we should respect and um, protect our environment. Thank you.